Hi statistics student, this video is for chapter 1.2. In this video, we're going to talk about types of data, how we can do sampling, and also sampling variation, the facts of sampling variation. So first is types of data. When we collect data, of course, we have a goal of what we want to find out, but how we analyze them, how we display them, how we organize them has to do with the types of the data that they have that we are collecting. So we want to classify them so that we know how to summarize them and also how to present them. So the first is the types of data classified as categorical data or quantitative. Categorical data usually are names or label as a result of categorizing the attributes. Sometimes we call it a qualitative data. It's about quality, not a quantity. Quantitative data are usually numbers, counts, or measurement. So remember, categorical is names or categories. Quantitative are numbers, numerical measurements, or counts. Now, sometimes when you see a numbers, they might not always be quantitative. For example, your student ID. Your student ID is a number, but does it measure anything? Nope. Does it count anything? No. It's just a name. It's a name for you, for registrar to refer to you. So it's categorical. So categorical a lot of times are name, like color of your hair, color of your eyes, or like what we talked about last time. If you ask someone, are you willing to take a COVID-19 vaccine when it's available? A yes or no answer. So those are label or categories. So those are categorical data. Quantitative data would be like your cumulative GPA, something that you're measuring, something that is related to count. We will do more example later. So the second way of classifying is classifying quantitative data. Out of quantitative data, which is measurement or count, we can further classify it as discrete or continuous. A discrete data is a count or a number that takes on finite value. So there is only that much numbers possible. Okay, so maybe number of siblings or number of class that you're taking. So they are counts. They only takes on finite or they takes on finite values. Continuous data are usually measurement data that can have. So I want to emphasize the term can. So it's when we collect them or when we measure them, we sometimes find that we actually seems like we rounded them. But if we can have infinitely many possible value between two values, it's just because we don't have a very accurate measuring device, then they are called continuous data. A example would be height. Okay, if your height, sometimes you will say, oh, I'm 5'6", I'm 5'10", or 5'2", or 6 feet something. So you feel that you are only measure up to inch, right? A certain inch. And it's really because you rounded it. If possible, if you have a very accurate measuring device, you can measure up to 5 feet, 7.123 inches. So there can have infinitely many values in between two numbers, so that's continuous. Another number would be your hourly wage. Your boss, your company gives you a certain dollar per hour, so that's your wage. It seems like they're finite. They count how many dollar per hour. You could have $12.5 or $15.2 per hour. So it still seems like finite, but presumably you could have any number in between $1. Like you can have 15.123. It's just that for convenient purpose, employer usually give whole numbers or a nice number. So salary per hour or wage per hour is a continuous data. Okay. Level of measurement. So the third way of classifying data is classifying by the level. Now, level of measurement is introduced by psychology people when they measure some um, measurement that is in a scale. Sometimes they want to, so you can see that it's about scale level. Sometimes they want to find out if those scale levels are one of these. Okay, so maybe they would measure your um, emotion. They measure how happy you are. So, in a scale from 0 to 10, like that. So, these are very applicable to psychology measurement. Okay. I think it is applicable in medical field also. Sometimes, like the nurse might ask you, "What is your pain level?" or "How comfortable with you with some, medicine or something?" or so scale level. Anytime we're not measuring something, but we are doing a survey, but surveying people's about their opinion or something, so this would be applicable. So nominal level are level where they are you're collecting categorical data and there is no natural ordering. Ordinal scale level are categorical data or labels with a natural ordering. So small, medium, large. So the types of T-shirt that you for your size is ordinal level. Or how happy you are, sad, not sad, neutral. So those are ordinal level. There is some kind of ordering. Interval levels are quantitative. They're actually numbers with no natural zero. Well, you may ask, Ms. Chen, what is no natural zero? Anything you can go back, you can draw a zero. Well, there is a zero, but the zero value is only a mark. Okay, does not mean that there is nothing. So difference is meaningful, but ratio is not meaningful. So the example that I can give is temperature. If you say zero temperature, does it mean that there is no temperature? No, it's just that it is at that point at zero. And -1 is 1 degree below zero. -2 is 1 degree below 1. So the difference is meaningful, but you cannot say 20 degree is twice as hot as 10 degree, right? Ratio means how many times one is bigger than the other doesn't make sense. Ratio is most of the measurement. Okay, it's a quantitative data with natural zero. So if you say my earning is zero or my saving is zero, that means you don't have money. Okay, difference and ratio is meaningful. I have $100 and you have $200. You have twice as much as me. Ratio, how many times is also meaningful because zero means zero. Here, zero is just a mark. Okay. For now, I think temperature is a interval. As far as I know, is the interval level that I know. But if you are doing psychology measurement, so maybe you will be measuring someone's emotion, and zero is just a particular place that you want to, collect, and it doesn't mean you have no emotion. So those would be classified as interval scale, okay, interval level. For nominal and ordinal, they are usually uh, classifying categorical data. So when we summarize them, we would summarize how many percentage belongs to a particular category. So you would not calculate the mean. Okay, the average of something is not meaningful. So you would say for example, okay, so when we go to school and face to face, we'll say, oh, where is your classroom? In which building? Okay, building could be a number, but they're only a label, right? So if you say, oh, I'm going to calculate the average of all the buildings that students goes to, is it meaningful? It has no meaning. But you can say, okay, 20% of people go to building 3, 10% had classes in building 1, like that. Okay. So proportion. So we summarize them by proportion. Okay, so this is an example. Let's classify this data. We want to classify them as quantitative or categorical. And if they're quantitative, are they discrete or continuous? Remember, only if they're quantitative, we would classify them further as discrete or continuous if it is quantitative. And then we also would classify them level of measurement. A, the number of students in a Zoom meeting. Number of students is a count, right? So it is quantitative and it is a count. We cannot have 1.2 person. So it is discrete. And is it ratio or interval? It is ratio because if I have 2 person in the Zoom meeting and the other class has 4 person, the 4 people, that is, 0 people means 0. The majority of us, the major of study of a student. So major would be, are you in business major or pre-nursing or English or whatever? So that is categorical, right? So if it's categorical, we don't have to classify. Oh, the last one, do we? Yeah, we classify whether it's discrete or continuous. And we don't need to classify if it's discrete or continuous, but we want to know the level. Can we order them? No, there's no order, right? So no ordering, so it's nominal. C, student ID. Student ID is, we talked about this before. Student ID is a name, so it's categorical. Although it's a number, but it's just naming someone. It does not measure anything. So we don't have to talk about discrete or continuous, but we do want to talk about level of measurement. Can we order that? Yes, we can order it. So it's a ordinal number, ordinal level. Jersey number of a basketball player. So it is also a number. So is it quantitative? Is it measuring anything? No, it's a jersey number. So very similar to student ID. It's still categorical, right? It's categorized. It's almost like a name. And is it ordinal? Yes, it is a number, so you can order it. E, duration it takes to finish a homework. So it's the time. So how many minutes can you does it take you to finish a set of homework? So it must be a measurement because it's in minutes. So it's quantitative. It's a number like 5 minutes, 20 minutes. So we would say quantitative. If it is quantitative, is it discrete or continuous? Is it a count or can it have any number in between 1 minute? Yes, it can. So we call it continuous data. That doesn't mean that you continuously do your homework. This is just an English meaning. Continuous means there can be any number in between 2 numbers. That's what it means. It's not a count. Usually we rounded it, but it's really because of rounding. So what about level of measurement? Is it ratio, interval? It is 0 minutes, 0. Yes, 0 minutes is 0. So it's ratio. Grade of an exam. So 90%. Well, grade of an exam. Does it mean percentage grade? I assume it is a percentage grade. Okay. A grade of a course would be ABC, right? Grade of an exam would be like 90% or 70% or 80%. So it is quantitative. If it's quantitative, is it discrete or continuous? Can you have any number of points in between? I think you can. It's just that teachers tend to give 1 point to a question, but it's possible to have any number in between, right? If this teacher want to take off 1 point for, for a particular question, is it ratio or is it interval? It is a ratio because 0 points means 0. Okay. Temperature of a city. Remember temperature. Temperature is a measurement. Is it either in Celsius or the Fahrenheit? So, and it is a continuous And because its temperature is a interval,